Hello guys, today we'll be talking about setting up desktop computer or how to put up the different external devices or the peripherals. And our objective for today is to determine the procedure in setting up the desktop computer and for you to be able to set up desktop computer through an activity which I already posted the task sheet and the project sheet on our JC. Right. Okay, so here are the things that we will be needing. So first is the system unit, monitor, mouse, keyboard and speakers, and also a VR. Now if you don't have this at home, you may do the activity inside our laboratory. Right. Now let's talk about the steps or the procedure in setting up the desktop computer so you can safely set up a desktop computer by yourself. Okay. For step number 1, place the system unit on a table where you want it to be located. So kung saan nyo gusto ilagay yung desktop computer, first ilagay nyo muna yung system unit doon sa paglalagyan nyo. And make sure na merong malapit na power outlet. And then always use AVR to avoid damaging your computer kasi yung kuryente natin is fluctuating. So kailangan natin ng AVR to regulate the electricity that is going in to the computer. Okay, and then lastly, for step number 1, prepare the power cables. You already know what are the power cables, diba? Okay. For step number 2, after installing the system unit, you may now install the keyboard. Now, in installing the keyboard, you need to check whether the keyboard has a USB or PS2 type connector. If it's USB, you need to connect it to one of the USB ports. If it is PS2, you need to connect it to the PS2 ports. Okay. Another tip in installing the keyboard, like I said earlier, you need to install it by connecting it to its proper port. So if it's PS2, connect it to the PS2, or if it is USB, insert it to one of the USB port. And then do not install or remove the keyboard while the computer is powered on. So i-install nyo yung keyboard while the computer is turned off. Alright. Now, for the third step, installing the mouse. In installing the mouse, it's similar to installing the keyboard. First thing that you need to do is to check whether it has a USB connector or PS2. If it is PS2, you need to connect it to PS2 port. If it is USB, you need to connect it to one of the USB ports. Okay. And of course, do not install or remove the mouse, similar to keyboard, while the computer is powered on. You need to install it while the computer is turned off. Right. Now, for the fourth step, installing the monitor. Firstly, you need to identify the connection type from the monitor going to the graphic card or to the computer or system unit, because there are several connectors, diba? We have DVI, VGA or HDMI. Now, after identifying the type of connector, you need to plug in the connectors to its appropriate ports. Alright. After the monitor, you may now install the speakers. Now, to install the speaker, determine the type of speaker and its connector. and connect the cable, usually the green color jack, to the line out jack of the computer or the system unit. And if it has a power cord, you need to plug it to an outlet or power outlet, or if it has USB, you need to insert it to one of the USB ports in the system unit. Now if you have webcam, because webcam is just optional, you may now try installing it after installing the speaker. How? Common webcams can be simply plugged in to one of the USB port, and it will be automatically detected by the system or the computer once it is turned on. Although some webcams would need to have its driver installed first, but most of the webcams today are plug and play. So when you plug it into the system unit, it will be automatically detected. No need to install driver. And again, webcam is just an optional, if you still remember. After the webcam is installed, or if you don't have webcam, you may proceed installing the printer if you have one. Again, printer is just an optional. Latest printers can be simply plugged into the one of the USB port, and you will be prompted to install their driver if it needs driver. But some of the printers are usually plugged and play, but if it requires a driver, you need to install the driver. Alright, so now after putting everything in place and after connecting the connector to its correct ports, you may now turn on the computer. But first, make sure that you are using an ABR to protect the computer from power surge. And that's it. If everything is connected to its proper ports, you may now turn on the computer. Right. Do you have questions? If you do, please comment down below so I can address it here. Right. And for your activity, I want you to use this one as a guide. Okay. You already have this in your task sheet, for you to be guided. Just read it and follow the instruction, right? Okay, so that's it for today, and I hope to see you soon. By the way, I'll be posting a video of what you're going to do next, so please stand by.